Welcome back to the LoveThySelfies podcast. So, if you have ever felt like your body was something that you had to conquer, or if you've ever treated weight loss like it was a battle, or if you have ever believed that discipline alone should be enough for you, then this episode is written for you. Today, we are starting something, and I am calling this series the Weight Loss Truce Series. It's not because I gave up on myself, but because I just stopped fighting myself through my weight loss journey. So, for over a decade, weight loss has felt like I was literally in the middle of a war. It was a war against hunger, a war against cravings, a war against the scale, a war against myself in every possible way. And the exhausting part wasn't just the food or the workouts, but it was the constant mental noise, the calculations, the guilt, the comparisons, the belief that if I just tried harder, eventually I would finally win. But what if the war wasn't the actual problem? What if fighting your body makes your body fight you back? That is what this season has been about for me. Calling a beautiful, peaceful truce. So, I want to tell you my story. For the past 20 years, I have tried every single thing I possibly can to lose weight and consistently keep it off. Every diet that came out, I did it all. I lived paleo for like 3 years straight and I didn't eat processed sugar. I didn't eat carbs. There have been literally years where I have not eaten bread or processed grains. I tracked all my macros and spreadsheets. I had apps downloaded and I was literally entering every tiny bit of food into my fitness pal. I purchased so many programs. I did all of these crazy workouts before I ate in the morning, before sunrise. I would get up at 5 a.m. I reduced all my carbs. I increased all my protein until I was eating so much I felt sick. I cut sugar out for so long. And from the outside, I may have looked super disciplined and probably a little bit crazy. And from the inside, I was just completely burnt out and exhausted and unhappy. And because I live with PCOS, I was also extremely confused at the results. Why did it work for everybody else, but it didn't work for me? Why did my body feel like it was resisting me? Like I literally felt like everything I was trying to do to love myself, my body was paying me back in hatred. And the truth is that I wasn't just dieting, I was punishing myself relentlessly for years. Every plateau I hit felt like it was proof that I just wasn't enough or that I was doing something wrong. Every fluctuation felt like a complete failure. There is something deeply painful about believing that your body is your enemy. The loudest part of this journey for me was not the hunger, it was the white noise in my head that I didn't even know was there. Should I eat this? How many grams is that? Did I earn this? Do I deserve this? I should really go for that walk. I should really go to the gym again. What about 2-a-day workouts? Even on good days, my thoughts were completely consumed by all the things that I wasn't doing right. And when you live that way long enough, it doesn't just exhaust your body, it exhausts your entire identity. I didn't want to be someone who thought about food all day. I didn't want to wake up calculating. I wanted it to come naturally and I wanted it to be so easy. And I wanted peace, peace in my body, peace in my heart, peace in my soul around food. And the most surprising thing about starting a GLP-1 wasn't the weight loss. It was the peace and quiet in my head. The food noise completely softened and the urgency around eating faded. It was gone. I could have thought about food and it would completely pass within a minute or two, maybe after I took a couple sips of water. So, for the first time in years, I felt completely neutral. I was not obsessed. I was not restrictive. I was not spiraling constantly. I was neutral. And that neutrality, it felt like safety immediately to me. It wasn't because I was physically smaller, but it was because I wasn't fighting with myself every bite I took or every step around my house when I was constantly thinking about what snack I needed or what I was eating for lunch or dinner. That was gone. I finally got my life back again. So here's what I understand now that I did not understand then. PCOS often comes with insulin resistance. I know if you have PCOS, you have heard that before. Insulin resistance basically means that your body doesn't process glucose efficiently. Elevated insulin makes fat storage easier and fat burning so much harder. When you add chronic stress and elevated cortisol to the mix, your body will hold on to everything even tighter. And I was trying to solve a hormonal issue with self discipline, but discipline cannot override dysregulation. GLP-1 medications are proven to improve insulin sensitivity and to regulate your appetite signaling. So for me, it wasn't about taking a shortcut or cheating. It was literally about aligning my hormones in my body to a beautiful place where I was finally able to have some success. The scale moving is very visible, but the piece is invisible. And a lot of people haven't talked about this. This was a complete shock to me when I started. The shift in how I would even speak to myself. I am a completely different person, and my husband is pointing that out to me. So, my absence of panicking around food, wondering where we're going to eat, wondering if I'm going to get enough protein, wondering if I'm going to eat too much fat because we're eating out, or the calories are going to be too high, or what's a good swap at this restaurant, or whatever it may be. I was stressed all the time, planning my entire life around meals and food. So this season has become so undramatic. It's actually unsettling. Like, I've had to take a step back and be like, wow, my whole world revolved around food. And I'm so grateful that it doesn't anymore because I feel like I got my life back. And it's beautiful. I feel so steady and sustained. So here's what I'm releasing through this process. I am releasing the belief that suffering equals worthiness, the idea that natural automatically means superiority, and the shame around needing support because we all do. We're biologically built to be herd animals. We need each other. And the obsession with daily numbers, that was something I struggled so much with. What was my calorie intake for the day? What was my protein goal for the day? Did I get to carb load because I had worked out today? Those things weighed on me so heavily. And one of the best gifts I'm giving myself by taking a GLP-1 is I am not outsourcing my health. I am partnering with it. And that is the real truth here. So, if this episode resonated, I wrote about this in depth in my blog. I have 4 different episodes this week. Number 1, why doing everything right still didn't work. That one's about PCOS and insulin resistance. I really dive deep into the science behind that. The second one is about food noise. And I also talked about more in depth about the war and how it felt when I felt the silence and the peace. And then the other one that I did was about GLP-1s and plateauing. And that was basically taken from the conversation I had personally with my PCP. My doctor who got on the phone with me, she answered questions for 30 minutes, everything that I was terrified of with starting this GLP-1 because I waited for 2 years. I did my own research. I was freaking out. And the one thing that got me to finally move on this decision and making this choice for me was when my sister-in-law, who just beat breast cancer, I'm so grateful that she is such a beautiful part of our lives and that we get to keep her around for such a long, beautiful time. She mentioned to me that her oncology team was talking to her about possibly being a good candidate for a GLP-1. And my biggest fear about taking GLP-1s was the possibility of getting cancer. So as soon as I heard that her cancer team is doing a bunch of research on how this is actually helping to cure cancer, I immediately called my doctor. And I was like, what can this do for me? So that blog post is all about her answers, all about how to avoid plateauing, all about how to take care of yourself and make sure that you are checking every box that your body needs. You are still getting the nutrition you need. And I also have in all of those blog posts my top 5 favorite things that I'm loving right now in this season of my life. So if you're interested in that resource, those are there too. I have a GLP-1 starter guide for women who are struggling with PCOS because it is a lonely road. It is so hard when you feel, like I said, like your body is fighting you every step of the way. I have a protein target cheat sheet that, like I said, my doctor gave me lots of tips on, and then a muscle preservation checklist. That is the most important thing when you're on a GLP-1. Don't lose muscle. So that is such a great resource. And I just wanted to say, if you are tired of battling yourself through this journey, if you've tried everything, if you're questioning whether you're allowed to choose support, you are. GLP-1 medication is support for you, for your hormones. This is beautiful stuff that science is bringing to the forefront for us. You are allowed to protect your metabolism. You are allowed to quiet the noise in your head. You are allowed to stop fighting your body. This series is not about shrinking and becoming smaller or whatever. This series is about stability and finding safety in your body again. It's about calling a truce and finally feeling at peace with you again, with that mental voice in your head that has made you feel so small for so long. And if you're here, I just want you to know that you are not alone. And I hope you stay with me along this journey because I'm only 3 to 4 weeks in, and it's already been such a beautiful journey for me. I've learned so much. So I hope to see you next week. I'm going to be posting another episode on Friday. So make sure that you come back and listen to how my life is improving over and over again. All right. Namaste, bestie.